John Mateer told on himself in what felt like the explanation that was for his pick six as I was watching it, as I was rewatching it, as I watched the tape. And now hearing him say that, I got to believe two things. One, love John Mateer for the honesty on what he said and what we all saw. And two, Oklahoma needs to do some self-scout and some self-evaluation, particularly about its offense. And there's one thing that worries me about Brent Venables' 2026 team already, and it's got to start with John Mateer. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year-round. If you're into that, hit that subscribe button, like this video, answer the question in the comments below. Do you think that Brent Venables should overhaul the offense one more time going into 2026? I'm asking that question like legitimately, and I really do want you to be thoughtful in the comments because this is a thing that I'm considering myself after Oklahoma blew a 17-0 lead and then was outscored 34-7 at home in the biggest game in state history against a team that had beaten 5 weeks earlier and a team that was very much feeling itself in the post game. I have this really great image of Ty Simpson sitting in front of me, absolutely pointing the finger at media members going, thanks for the sauce on this one. Y'all didn't think we were any good. And it turns out we got 85 scholarship players here that are pretty good. And I always expect this to come back. And I'm like, he even invoked Kobe in his post-game press conference. You know what? Come on, Ty Simpson. Clench that rose between your teeth. A little bit of a scuffle there at the end between Bama and Oklahoma players. And I'm thinking to myself, well, if you're an OU player and you still got that much fight left, yeah, that might be one of the reasons you lost the game by 10 points. To say nothing of Tate Sandell with the blunders and 2 missed field goals and the special teams blunder. I mean, Grayson Miller just dropping the punt. And then Tim Keenan, who, by the way, is the biggest man on the Alabama roster, falling on it. That's one thing. But the thing that really set this thing all the way back is the pick six that John Mateer threw coming out of a timeout. Matter of fact, the question was put to Kane Womack, and it was a good one. Did you change what you were going to do with John Mateer at quarterback coming out of that timeout? And he's going, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, yes. Because what they had been doing so far has been playing a lot of zone against him, and he didn't really change it then, but it was an allusion to what they were going to do next, because the way that I saw it was Mateer sincerely believed that what he was going to get, what he was looking at was not the defense that he saw. So I'm going to give him his room here to say what he saw. He said, yeah, I had to check some, right? Meaning I had to check the line of scrimmage, but it was a bad check and I got tricked. You watch the tape, and it was obvious. It wasn't cover zero, and I got tricked. It happens sometimes, but when you get tricked, you have to mitigate the damage, and I didn't do it. Then I didn't make a tackle, and I didn't let our defense have a chance. That there is it, right there. Full credit for him, because that's exactly what happened, right? I didn't see cover zero because they hadn't been running cover zero all night long, and I kept asking myself, why won't Kane Womack just play man? Or I should say, I hope Kane Womack doesn't play man, because Mateer was doing a really great job of picking zone apart. If you gave him time to scan it, he was going to find his leveled windows and get it through there on the second go-round. Sometimes moving a little bit further out to the right or the left than I would want him to, but eventually he would find somebody open. But the problem with not just him finding someone open, it's that he would sometimes just miss. So my big grievance with John Mateer is his inaccuracy. Because the way that I always put this is, there are 100 players at Oklahoma right now who can play quarterback. 100. They have the athletic ability to throw the football 50, 60 yards downfield and to outrun people chasing them at the line of scrimmage. They have that. What separates a quarterback from any other athlete on a football team at that level is his ability to process what he has seen, the entire defense post-snap, and make decisions blinking his eyes, and his accuracy. Everybody on that football team can throw it 1,000,000 yards. Not everybody can hit a shoebox from 35 yards away, from 40 yards away, can smack a gnat on a fly's ass from 55 yards out. That's why you play quarterback. That's it. Can you be accurate with the football? When your mechanics are great, when your shoulder is pointing at what you are targeting and you can let the ball go and it hits right where it's supposed to, when you can layer passes over the top of linebackers and get them down so that your wide receiver is the only one that can make that catch, then you're playing quarterback. That's the reason you get the job, right? My favorite scene in all of college of Friday Night Lights, right, in the six seasons of those episodes, has nothing to do with the Dillon Panthers. I can give a damn. It's when they go to East Dillon and you get to start playing with the kind of high school football players that I used to coach in high school. My ninth grade team, which featured, among others, DeMarco Cobb. My God, DeMarco Cobb was a monster. Had a bunch of dudes that thought they were quarterbacks. Everybody lines up, says, I play quarterback, right? And you got to let them figure out for themselves that you don't, right? Or you got to let them figure out for themselves who plays quarterback. And what it generally comes down to is how accurate are you with the football and how quickly can you make decisions post-snap? When we rotate coverages, do you know what coverage we're rotating into? Do you know where the windows are going to be? Or have you been watching enough film to make that check at the line of scrimmage and make it right? It's another thing that John Mateer probably would have got. That's mean. Maybe what Kane Womack showed is not on film. Maybe. But if it ain't on film, you check to a run play. That's what you do. You don't check to another pass if you don't recognize it. But the problem is he thought he recognized it. He thought he saw it. He was wrong. And in being wrong, not only throw the pick-6, he's talking about making the tackle, but making the tackle gives the defense a chance, right? That's what he means. The defense at Oklahoma have been balling, absolutely balling for the last 9 games of the season. What I did not expect is for the offense to regress. I didn't expect that. It's one thing for Mateer not to be good. It's another thing for Oklahoma just not to be able to generate offense. It's been so much fun to watch OU with the defense. But it was very clear now that the flaw and the setback and the ceiling for this OU team is the same as last year's team. It's just a little bit higher. It's the offense. Ben Arbuckle is not creative enough in his play calling for me. It's a bunch of levels and drags concepts that have Mateer rolling to his right far too much. And I really would like to see one of two things, right? The +1 quarterback game, okay, I get it, because there's no run game, and that needs to change. But so would helping him out with air raid concepts, not because he can throw the ball all over the yard, but because the air raid concepts are get the ball out quickly. Do not let him sit back there and try to play Aaron Rodgers, where he's just going to watch it all and make a play. That's not what you need to do. What you need to do is hitch routes, slants. If you want to run mesh, which is a drag concept, do it. But let's make this easy and have him read one side of the field or another. Something got to change on that end, right? Like I think both Arbuckle and John Mateer need to do a bunch of self-scout. I really do. Because if this is the offense that it's really difficult to blow up a team that goes 10-3. It is. It's really, really hard. But you do know that BV is going to have the defense that he needs to have next year. Is he going to have the offense to compete? Because this was gut-wrenching, heart-raking. I mean, I have not run into a single person since Friday who has anything other than sorrow and depression and anger for Friday night if they're from Oklahoma. It's not been an easy thing to get over. One of my better friends of the last 8 years, he drove 9 hours with his family to see this game. You know, there's a great joke about which one were you spending more money on that was worth more, right? Is it Jay Knott or 50 Cent, right? For the mini men, right? Because we didn't get to see any of Jay Knott, which was supposed to be about the run game. Again, I give full credit to Mateer for taking responsibility for this. He did finish 26 of 41 for 307 with 2 TDs, but that was late, right? And a lot of this we felt like is just simply having the horses. I also don't understand why why Arbuckle likes to put the short, fast dudes on the outside and the big dudes on the inside. I don't get it, right? Deion Burks is going to be a dude wherever he goes. Like, I love watching that guy play football. Jermichael Carter came on. Shivani Gibson came on. Isaiah Statanga, feast or famine, right? You ask me right now, I really like him as a player. I also miss Nick Anderson being healthy. I get it. He left, all that. But there are kinds of players that can help you, and there are kinds of players that can really help you. Nick Anderson standing there wide open against OU Texas in the end zone. That's my image of Nick Anderson, right? Isaiah Tanga, catch the football, don't fumble the football, those sorts of things. But I give John Mateer all the credit in the world for this. But that is something that needs to get fixed if OU wants to go where it wants to go. And for now, let's start with, make the college football playoff 5 times. Let's win one of those. Instead of being 0-5. Suggestion.